the debt problem's been pushed up from a personal to a corporate, now to a government level. The government can't push it up any further, so they need to find a super asset that they can inflate. And this is where, to me, the only asset you want to inflate is Bitcoin, because it makes maybe 10,000 dorks like us super wealthy, but at a most important level, it doesn't have any downstream consequences for society. Like if you increase the price of property, then you're going to increase the cost of housing. Cost of living pressures are going to go through the roof. It's going to be inflationary to the broader market. But because Bitcoin is so tightly held and people don't want to sell it, they don't want to trade it for anything. Damn, British is basically selling watches to buy more Bitcoin, and that's the love of his life. All of a sudden, we're not spenders. We're not creating inflationary pressures when you support or when Bitcoin goes through the roof. Yes, there will be a little bit, but there's only such a small number of holders that the downstream consequences are so little relative to inflating everything else. And this is where I look at this and think the government's only got one choice, because $1 into Bitcoin gets you somewhere between 2 to 100, depending on how hot the market is, 100x return. But $1 into the bond market is a negative real yield. $1 into the stock market might be a 5 or 10% return. $1 in the property market might be a 20% return. I look at this and think if they've got done any work on a cost benefit analysis, they need to basically buy a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's
the most important thing is the social consequences side of it, because every other asset that they've used to do this has always had downstream social consequences. With Bitcoin, no one's jumping out of a building because it's too expensive and they can't pay their mortgage or whatever else. It is the absolute perfection of an asset for that purpose.
I often hear that, this is, from my parents' mates that I talk to, one of the criticisms that I hear is, oh, you can't live in a Bitcoin. It's like, that's precisely why this is the perfect asset that Wall Street's going to want to trade and that the governments are going to fund.